What?
What? What do you mean, what?
Yeah, what?
The fucking mic's
Well,
recording.
You fucking think I'm gonna start talking just because you pressed the record button?
I mean, that's usually what happens.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 1-year anniversary of the worst game ever! With your host, Kaznarius, and...
The pork chopper.
Oh, here we are. We've made it. An entire year of podcasting. That's... What is this, episode 9? Pork chopper, that is like one episode for every month.
Is this...
That's incredible.
Without further interruption, let's celebrate and suck some dick.
Is it 9 or 8?
I think... Shut the fuck up, it's 9.
Alright.
That's like one podcast for every month. That's incredible. If only someone would get off their ass and do their fucking work and make the rest of the episode. Then we wouldn't have a 4-month hiatus. If only somebody would have done that.
Yeah, I wonder who did that. Moving on.
Fuck you. Anyway, as this is our 1-year anniversary, we have decided to change it up a little bit, our format. We will not be talking about the worst game ever, but sort of paying tribute to the best and worst things in video games. We want to tackle larger subjects, being the brilliant masterminds that we are, the mental giants of the video gaming industry. That fucker who stole that review, he is not a mental giant. He is not a... He is a flea compared to us. We are Dr. Manhattan, and he is everyone else in Watchmen. Our blue dicks are out right now, and they're swinging. Just trust me. We're swinging our dicks together. It's really straight.
All right.
Anyway, with that very straight analogy out of the way, I figure let's start the show off with Pork Chopper. What the fuck are you playing?
I've been playing, I've been playing a lot of Hitman 2. It's just a game that I keep going back to.
Wow.
I mean, every month they're adding, like, new content, new challenges. They do, these things called elusive targets where you have, like, 4 or 5 days to assassinate them. So I just keep going back to this fucking game. I've also been playing, Opera Omnia. Again, this game I play, like, pretty much every day.
Yeah, me too. You know, I felt the need. You'll see what our format is today, but we're essentially, before we get into this, our format is essentially, we're going to start off with 2 things that we think highlight what are the worst things about video games. Yep. We've each brought in one, and then we're going to talk about what we think are the best things. So for once in this podcast history, we are going to be giving praise to something. We are... Maybe this will be the episode where somebody in Shanley LM's comments won't be, why are these guys so negative all the time? And again, a big shout out to Shanley LM for, I think, fucking streaming every single one of our episodes.
Yeah, I think
almost
so.
all of them.
Yeah, almost, yeah.
It's been a little bit of, what's the fucking word I'm looking for?
I don't know what you're trying to say, so...
When other people see your shit.
Exposure?
Exposure.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Fuck you. What do you mean you didn't...
I didn't know what you were trying to say.
Come on, you motherfucker. Okay. We've been on hiatus for 4 months, although by the time this goes out, it would have been like, 3 days. Okay, alright. Let's be real here, alright? August 8th. August 8th, that is the 1-year anniversary.
Yes.
I know, everyone at home, they're clapping. Everyone is clapping. We're stunning and brave. It's gonna be every single year. If we go... 1 year, if we do a 1-year hiatus, August 8th will be the day that you will see another episode of this piece of shit. I mean, this amazing podcast. Do not fucking laugh at that.
Yeah.
That is the truth. Here's to another 1 episode.
Yeah.
For next year.
Yeah.
I don't... Opera Omnia is... so when I thought about this episode, I originally thought to bring in gacha games.
Mm-hmm.
Because whereas I didn't talk about this when I brought up Brave Exvius for the first time, is that I read a story like immediately after about this guy that spent $1,000 to get Cloud and still didn't get him, right?
That sucks.
So that's crazy. And if you go to Reddit right now, the top post, I believe it's called A Whale of a Tale. Now, a whale is a person on a gacha game who rapidly spends money on
Yeah,
everything,
the cash cows that they're looking for.
essentially. And it's just this story about this guy who has kids. He's got a wife. And he essentially, like, spends thousands... I think he ends up on, like, $14,000 down the shitter
Jesus.
on this mobile game. And it's... like, he talks about, like, his thought process and how he, like, excuses this kinds of behavior. It's honestly really fucking sad. I'm really starting the show on a downer. But it's also an incredibly interesting tale.
Yeah.
But I don't believe Opera Omnia is like that. I really don't. Because there's a fucking safety net of gems. If you have 75k gem, you are guaranteed to get the shit you want.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's okay. I personally still think that and loot boxes should be called... Just call it gambling. Let the kids off.
Yeah.
Call it gambling. Let it be 18. I don't give a fuck. I don't know. Then again, I'm a grown-ass adult talking about children's games, so...
Yeah. So my problem with, like... I'm fine with people wanting to spend money on a free game, but where I think it goes too far is when... Like, let's say you really support a game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And say you spend, like, the skins are, what, $50?
Oh, for Opera Omnia.
Yeah. Right?
Right, yes.
Let's say you spend the amount that you normally would buying, like, a full-price game, because you really want to support the game and you like it. I can understand that. I wouldn't do it personally, but I get it. But when you get to the point where you're spending, like, $1,000 and you're putting yourself in debt over this free game, like... I don't know, I think, like, that's just too much for me. That's insane.
I mean, it's sort of... I might more speak volumes about the guy that, like, fucking posted that and how they just... That's how fucked their priorities are.
Yeah.
Like, I've played Opera Omnia for fucking how many hours?
Yeah.
And I have, like, I don't know. I would never spend gems to get a character. I've spent spent money to get a certain character's weapons.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you do, that's fucked. But me, about Fire Emblem Three Houses, looks pretty good. Everyone says it's pretty good. I'm not brave for having that opinion that everyone else has. Honestly,
Looks like a good game.
Honestly, I'm kind of a sheep. You're listening to a sheep. Pork Chopper.
Mm-hmm.
The worst thing. Oh, sorry. Before I get into this, how about we get into the voting for the last episode?
All right.
The last episode isn't out. There is no voting. All right.
I was about to ask. I was like, how the hell?
Yeah, no, there's no voting. I will be doing the finishing touches on it right after we record this. You will be doing the audio editing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll, hopefully, again, this, no matter what, will be August 8th. I'd like for this to go out today, which is August 5th. The last episode
yeah.
to be out by August 5th. The worst thing about video games is water levels. Everybody and their fucking mom has played a water level that sucks dick.
Yeah.
Okay?
I can't think of a good one, to be completely honest.
Now, before I start riffing on every single water level, may I just say that almost every single water level's music is great. Aquatic ambiance from fucking Donkey Kong Country,
Yep.
Mario 64, fucking Dire Docks. Great songs. But it is... I don't know, they are just a fucking slog to play through 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
It feels like when you add verticality to it. Well, first of all, when you add verticality to a platform/collector the game, it's like, fuck. I'm in a giant pool of water, and now I have to not just go around this giant pool of water. I need to go down, search every square inch of this pool of water to make sure I'm not, like, forgetting anything. It's usually the water swing is just super fucking slow.
The controls are horrible.
Always. Enemies, of course, you can't fight back. You have to swim around them.
Yeah.
They can adversely be some of the most terrifying levels because they often inhibit what the fuck you can do.
Yep.
Of course, you're always on a timer because you're going to run out of air. Yeah, we had the idea to bring in like certain games to elevate our fucking points here, but pick any fucking water level, any fucking one.
Yeah.
They're all bad.
Even in Metal Gear Solid 2, when you go underwater,
Yep.
even that one was shit in a game that was otherwise amazing, other than the fact that you didn't play a snake. But yeah.
Well, you didn't play a Snake in Metal Gear Solid 2?
No, you didn't.
What?
Nope.
Are you fucking for real?
Yeah.
That naked guy cartwheeling wasn't Snake?
No, definitely not, with the long-ass blonde hair.
Oh, no shit, okay. Yeah, fuck water levels. I know, fuck all of them.
Actually, while we're on water levels, actually, what did you think of the water kingdom in Odyssey?
Odyssey? Yeah, I mean, shit, right?
Yeah.
Every single, like, again, it's Odyssey made a little bit smoother. I think there's a little bit of a bit more movement speed up.
Yeah.
But again, it's like when I'm collecting shit, when I see a pool of water, I immediately starts cringing because I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go to the bottom of that fucking thing.
Yep. Always.
Where I can't attack anything, and I'm going to have to search every fucking square inch for like little coins or whatever.
Yeah.
They're often in just like shitty tucked away places. Yeah, I fucking hate water levels. Fuck water levels.
Yeah, and just like the nature of the controls, it fucks with the way that you want to use the camera. So
Yeah.
like, everything is just awkward in water levels.
Pokemon Ruby, you're surfing around normally on sea, and then you use dive. Suddenly, you're going down walking speed underwater, which is, it's fantastic. There's nothing I love more than slowing my fucking game down in areas that I've already seen. It's an easy one, but I think it's one we can all fucking relate to.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck water levels.
Yeah, they're pretty fucking bad.
I don't know if I have anything else to add. Like, they're shit, man. First-person shooters, they often just, like, you're not allowed to use guns.
Yeah. Sometimes they're, even, like in Call of Duty, it was kind of on rails where you were, like, going with this little underwater jet thing.
Oh, yeah,
just to,
yeah.
help it along so it wasn't a fucking slog.
As slow?
Yeah.
I know that, like, a normal person swimming through water wouldn't be fast, okay? Like, I know what swimming is.
Yeah.
Why, like, I go to video games to escape from my mundane, terrible, sexless life.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would I want more, like, stop making, you can pick some things to be realistic, but why does water always have to be the worst?
Yeah.
Fuck.
All right.
Water levels. Fuck them. Pork Chopper, what is the worst thing about video games?
Monetization. We touched on this with the gacha games.
You're right. We totally should not. I agree. Games should be free. They should not be monetized.
No.
All games should be free.
That's not what I mean.
E3 should just give everyone free games. Everyone worked for E3, right? That's how it works, right?
Oh yeah.
Nintendo. I mean, Sony was just like playing hooky or whatever that one time. And if E3 just gave everyone free games,
Hey, they gave everybody free information this year.
whoops.
Yeah.
Monetization.
Yeah. So what I mean is, it's not like you can't make money off of games. That's fine. My problem is,
When Phil Fish makes money off of games.
no, like
Agreed.
when
His shit should not be monetized. He should be killed.
no, like when they take things too far. Like I've seen people defend microtransactions. They always say, "Oh, well, games are more expensive to make nowadays than they ever were before." That's actually not true.
Mm-hmm.
The dollar amount seems like it's bigger, but when you adjust for inflation, games are actually cheaper to develop than they ever have been.
Mm.
The problem is they're spending insane amounts of money on fucking marketing the games to people that are never going to buy them in the first place, right? But anyway, they're constantly trying to make money, right? I get that. But the problem is people act like, oh, they're not evil, it's just, they're just trying to make a couple extra bucks, and if people want to spend that, fine, let them spend that. It's free will. Here's the thing. John Riccitiello is the former, I believe, CEO of Electronic Arts. Now, a while back, he had a keynote speech. And in this speech, he basically gloated, about the fact that with EA, they found ways to psychologically trick people into spending money.
Wow.
They found ways to essentially brainwash you into wanting to spend money that you couldn't afford. That's not okay. So
That's some fuckery right there.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
And he gloated like it was hilarious. Like he enjoyed intentionally ripping people off. Like that's... How do you live with yourself? Like that's fucking horrible.
In court, evidently. With... Again, it's a surprise mechanic. It's a...
Yeah, surprise mechanic. It's a surprise when I look down on my wallet and there's nothing left in it. That's the fucking surprise.
Oof.
But while some games handle monetization well, I think overall it would be better for everybody if we didn't have it. Because of companies like EA and Activision, who I'm going to talk about in a second, who go out of their way to, entice you and try to trick you into being ripped off. Now, I mentioned Activision. Before, I believe it's Crash Team Racing. Before Crash Team Racing came out, they made this big thing about how there was no microtransactions in the game. The game's been out for a while. Guess what they just added in an update?
Gosh, I could not tell you.
Monetization. Microtransactions for a lot of things. You know how there's the Stardust or whatever the fuck it is you have in the game, your currency. You can buy it now, and then you can just use that to buy everything. Like, after promising that the game wouldn't have them, now it does. And it's like, they know it's wrong. So what they've done, they do the same thing with Call of Duty. They launched the game without loot boxes, and then they release an update 2 months later. And they're basically circumventing the ESRB rating because there's no monetization in the game when it launches. And that's fucking ridiculous. So parents pick up this game at EB or GameStop or Best Buy, and it doesn't say anything about these, in-game purchases, and then they bring it home, and, little Johnny's fucking emptying your savings account, which just happened in FIFA Ultimate Team. This kid spent, $3,000.
Yeah.
Like, it's absurd that this is actually legal and allowed.
To add to your point, I remember at E3, just the last E3, for that kind of shitty looking Marvel game, not Marvel Ultimate Alliance, but like this new Marvel
Omega Strike Force or some weird shit.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
It was at, I forget which conference. It was at the end of the Square Enix conference, I think.
Yeah.
And the chick on stage looked so fucking nervous the whole time. And then, as she said it, she was like, and we won't have any microtransactions or loot boxes, and people were actually cheering and losing their mind over that.
So our promise to the community is that we won't have random loot boxes or pay-to-win scenarios.
Yeah. We've gotten to the point where it is a specialty, it is a novelty feature to not have this.
Yeah.
People cheer when it's not in it. That's how ass fucking backwards we are about all this. How ingrained it is to gaming. Gaming in this day,
It's horrible. And it's like, it was one thing when it first started and people were like, oh, well, it's in free-to-play games. The games are free. They need to make money. That's fine. But when you're spending full price on a game like Call of Duty, and then 2 months later they're shoving microtransactions in your face, that's unacceptable. Like, they boast about how they made record profits. Meanwhile, in the exact same day that they announced that, by the way, they let off hundreds of staff because apparently they couldn't afford to pay them.
No shit.
They boast about record profits, and yet they apparently need microtransactions because the games are so expensive. Fuck off. No, they're not. But yeah, so my issue with the whole microtransaction kind of shit is that it's a really grim look at the future because they're progressively getting worse every single year. Mm-hmm. And, now we've got, streaming services like Stadia and all this shit. Everybody's trying to siphon more and more money. And it's just how bad is it going to get in 10 years? Games are already, you look at something like Battlefront 2 when it released, the whole game was built around the idea that they wanted you to spend money. Mm-hmm. It's just insane. But yeah, that's, for me, that's the worst thing in games.
Yeah. It's a fucking awful mechanic.
Yep. Surprise mechanic. Yep.
Surprise mechanic. Yep. I think the thing I hate the most about video games right now is the Nintendo Switch.
What?
I feel like every game that I buy for this thing lets me down in one way or another, whether it be graphically or frame rate wise. Usually both, though.
Yeah. That's fair.
I discussed last time, which will be 3 days from now, about how I played Warframe on the Switch, and like after several, I probably almost cracked about 100 hours with that, selling and trading and stuff. I kind of looked at it and I'm like, man, this runs like shit.
Yep.
Like there is just like some of the worst stutters and frame rate issues when you're playing online that I've ever fucking seen. Docked or undocked. Now we're looking at, I've had the fun process of having both my left Joy-Cons drifting.
Yep.
Both those motherfuckers.
That's shitty.
It couldn't have been either of the right ones, of course. I don't know, I really think it's a fucking terribly cheaply made console.
Yeah.
And to me, the sacrifice for portability has not at all been worth it.
Yeah.
I think Joy-Cons are terrible controllers. I really do.
Yeah.
In every sense of the word. Again, drifting, that's fun. It's great. I love it. It's a great feature where you can just sit down and have your character walk left for fucking 6 hours. It's forever.
Yeah.
Or like when you're playing Astro Bears and you're like making like incredibly precise movements, your character just like veers to the left randomly. It's really fun. It really fucks up everything, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And every time I put these onto my Switch and I'm holding it in undocked mode, I feel like I'm gonna break the fucking things off. The idea of a portable Switch just has me thinking, okay, so what happens when one of those motherfuckers starts drifting?
Yeah. Although, there is actually a way to fix it. The reason the Joy-Cons get drift is...
Because of the dust inside.
No.
Okay.
So, there's two materials. I don't know if it's aluminum and graphite or something like that underneath the analog stick. And as they rub together, the one material kind of wears down. Because it's a cheaper material, right? And when it wears down, it ends up fucking with the analog stick, right?
Okay.
It fucks with the contact. They went with those materials because they were cheaper. A way to fix it, they would just have to eat just a small amount of cost and just change those two materials out, and you wouldn't have that problem. Or at least not to this extent. Like, I had a PS4 controller that had that had analog drift.
Well, shit, Sony's already copying Breath of the Wild, so they might as well make the Sony Joy-Cons.
Yeah, which they actually have a patent for, and Microsoft as well, funny enough.
How about that?
Yeah, but like every controller can get analog, like sort of drift. The Joy-Cons are just getting it way worse, though. They can fix it, and hopefully they'll fix it for the Switch Lite and the new Switch revision. But by the way, I don't know if you ever actually noticed, but you can actually get those fixed for free from Nintendo. I just don't know if you want to go through the trouble.
I'm aware of that. And I just haven't fucking gotten around to it.
Yeah.
But it's still just like a pain in the ass. It's like, I'm just getting fucking PTSD of like, oh yeah, just send us your Xbox. We'll unred ring it real quick for you.
Oh god, I went through so many 360s.
So yeah, tell me about that. Like what? How about that shit? Huh? How many 360s did you go through?
I think I went through 3 of them.
Yeah. And how long do you have to wait for those fuckers to come back?
Luckily, whereas a lot of other people waited 2-3 weeks, I lived close to one of the warehouses, so I'd ship it and get the new one back in like a week or less. But I remember when I first bought my 360, and in the first week, I got Red Ring the first time, and that was shit. Yeah. Although Microsoft ate the cost and lost like $3 billion because they extended the fucking warranties to fix that shit.
Whoopsie daisies.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hate the Joy-Cons. I really hate the specs of the console and how it chugs with everything, seemingly.
Yeah. Although, I understand why it has that problem. Because of the fact that they went for portability, to keep the cost of the handheld at a price where people would actually pay for a handheld, they had to go for cheaper hardware.
I don't know.
It's just kind of shitty.
The trade-off isn't justified to me. And I fucking hate online.
The online is definitely shit. No joke.
I have played online probably twice since I've bought it.
Mm-hmm.
One night just going hard in Smash Bros. And getting disconnected from pretty much all my games.
Yeah.
Because fuck you if your opponent doesn't have an Ethernet cable, I guess.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't even know if that fucking helps. I've just been told it does. I have no doubt that Nintendo is lying to me. Just like they're lying about how they needed... Well, they didn't need the money. They sure as hell took it. And gave me... But you know what? They gave me a bunch of NES games that I play daily. All the time do I play those NES games that I could get anywhere for free.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And the voice chat and everything
Man!
through the phone.
The robust voice chat of having to use your fucking phone.
But don't you guys have phones?
Is this an out-of-date April Fool's joke? I don't know. I just really fucking hate this console. Every time I boot it up, I'm like, oh, great. I'm like holding it in my hands, and I'm like, ah, fuck these fucking things. I can feel them. They're becoming looser every time I put them on.
Yeah.
And I know there's gonna come a day when they fucking come off their hinges, and they're never gonna work again.
How do you feel about the system when you're playing in dock mode?
Well, after Breath of the Wild had a shittier frame rate in docked mode, I know, when I'm not using Joy-Cons, and when I'm using a Pro Controller, I don't know, it's a little bit better.
Yeah.
It makes me yearn for the PS4, which is undoubtedly a better couch experience, I would say.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Yay, I can play fucking Mario Party with my friends, but the Joy-Cons have the shortest fucking range ever for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, shitty frame rate. Why the fuck would I even? Pork Chopper, tell me, lighten my mood, get me off of the Switch. Mm-hmm. What is the best thing about video games?
I would say, with the fidelity of graphics that we're getting to, and the quality of audio, for example, and the creativity that we're seeing more in the AA and indie scene, the immersion in games is definitely better than ever. And you don't even need to be in VR to really feel like you're immersed in the game. You play something like The Witcher 3, and it's just you feel like you're entirely engrossed in this world. It feels real. And that's something that you could never really get at this level before.
Yeah, obviously you've played a shit ton of VR, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure that that level of immersion is something else.
Yeah, it's
I've
unlike
still to
anything
this day
else.
never played VR.
It's funny actually. My cousin Sam and her boyfriend were over last night, and her boyfriend Mike was playing VR, and he was standing up, and he went to play this game called Space Junkies, where you run around at a really fast speed, and you fly around in the air in space and shit, right, with gravity. And 2 seconds after starting to run, he started getting sick, and he had to sit down in the chair. And it's because the thing about VR
that sounds like a really great feature, Chopper. It sounds like a really great feature that you've decided to bring to me.
So
video games make you sick? Yeah.
You get used to it. The thing is, when you first start playing VR, the level of immersion is so real that you actually feel like you're really there, right? And so your body is standing still, but your brain is telling you that you're flying around at this really high velocity. Mm-hmm. So it fucks with you, and you become sort of discombobulated, and you get dizzy because you're not actually moving, right? And that it goes to the immersion because of how well it tricks your brain into thinking you're really there. It's a level of immersion that you can't actually get with anything else. But you do actually get used to it. That motion sickness does go away. Once you get used to it, there's a guy, Lonely Viper, who streams on Twitch. dressed as Deadpool for fuck knows why. He always dresses up as Deadpool. But he plays games moving at like insane speeds, and he's just like fucking swinging around and everything with perfect balance. You know, nothing phases him just because he's gotten so used to it. Yeah, actually, because of that level of immersion, though, I think that is the next really big thing in gaming. I think eventually, not right now, but eventually it'll take off. I think that's where games need to go. Maybe not
I don't know,
completely,
Pork
but
Chopper. I honestly, I think we're getting one step closer to that that episode of CSI or whatever, where they're real gamers, and like at the end the guy's like holding like it's like a first person shooter gun, and he's gonna shoot somebody, and it's the gun.
I think I remember that episode.
Hold on, so they kidnap and rape, and it's a game?
It's like a user hack of the game. Not like shooting a video game, huh? Actually, it's exactly the same.
Dick Wolf and Speed Weed.
Yeah.
Is it Special Victims? Ah, fuck, I don't know. I'll post the shitty clip.
I know what you're talking about.
But it's
though.
with
I've seen
Ice-T.
That's Law and Order.
Okay,
SVU.
Law and Order SVU.
Yes.
And it's that episode where the girl gets the shit kicked out of her by some guy.
Yeah.
And she says they leveled up.
Reina Punjabi only got this feminazi game made by being a slut.
What happened?
These guys, they just can't stand women in gaming.
What did they do to you?
They leveled up.
Yes.
Which is what all which I mean that's how I view domestic abuse as well. I'm just just helping my girlfriend level up personally.
That's one
she's
thing.
getting some better stats.
TV shows and movies never quite got gaming done right.
No, well, with the new Doom movie, which stars a female Doomslayer, I'm sure they will. I'm sure they'll get it. And the Monster Hunter movie, that'll be something else.
Let's not talk about that.
Okay. All I'm saying is I remember using an M16 in Monster Hunter. It's one of my favorite weapons.
Oh, for sure.
The Gunner class.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I'd agree. I think immersion is great. I love not thinking about my terrible, disgusting, putrid, horrifying, pitiful life for 6 seconds, and it's great.
Yeah, and I think in terms of immersion, the next big game that looks like it's going to take it to the next level is Cyberpunk 2077.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen gameplay of that game?
I have, actually.
It looks fucking incredible. And they haven't announced VR for it because it's probably too insane to run, but the game's got this level of verticality with these skyscrapers that you don't quite get in other games.
That's true.
It looks amazing. So that's going to be some shit to see.
Yeah. I don't know though. I've already seen The Matrix. I've already seen John
Get
Wick.
the fuck
I
out of here.
don't know if I need to see another fucking Keanu Reeves movie.
But it's breathtaking.
You're breathtaking.
You're all breathtaking.
Pork Chopper, the best thing in video games is telling the story. Rather, it's playing the story. Now, you may wonder what the fuck I mean by that. And of course I'm talking about the wonderful, the unshakable, the unwavering, the amazing game Gone Home, where you play through no. Okay, here's what I
was gonna say.
Video games have this way of storytelling that you just cannot get from any other medium.
Because of the interactivity, probably.
It is because of the interactivity, but I think it's a bit more than that. And I think what made me sort of come to that conclusion was a while after playing Doki Doki Literature Club, which I've obviously talked about a bunch on the show. I always bring it up because I love that game. Mm-hmm. But like if Doki Doki Literature Club were a TV show or a book or any other piece of media, if you called it a dating sim, well, first of all, like how do you do a dating sim as a book? How do you do a dating sim as a TV show? It can only work as a game. That sort of genre. Mm-hmm. But of course, as I've talked about forever, Doki Doki Literature Club is not a dating sim. It's a horror game. And it's because of this shift in genres that you get an experience that you cannot get if you went to go see a movie that started off as a romance into a fucked up psychological horror, it's going to have that rating. The trailers are going to tell you what the fuck happens from the beginning.
That's true.
It's the same with books. It's the same with TV. Every part of that story is going to get spoiled for you. And by that, I mean, like, the most important parts, where you're sort of wondering, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why is this so interesting? Like, why is this piece of media relevant? And I guess, like, in that way, Doki Doki Literature Club, by hiding its genre, just tells its story in such an interesting, visceral way, almost. From genres to, like, I mean, the role of the narrator even changes in that game. Like, you're playing a character that's narrating, but then eventually the character in the game, like, looks up your fucking computer data and calls you, the player, by your name. Right? Like, it's like, who are you really playing as? It can change like that, but I think we've all had sort of, even, like, these games that aren't the biggest on story, or like you play like games that you play more for the gameplay than their story. Like, I think all of us, the reason I'm sure most of our viewers watch this show is that we've all had that experience where we've felt like the character. Like, in RPGs, like, we're commanding these characters, but the reason, like, we give a shit what happens to them is because we've been playing their game. Like, we've been leveling them up, we've been going through all these side quests to, like, I don't know, we give a shit about them. We've put work into this game, we put in hours into this game, and I think because of that, like, you know, that level of, like, obviously it also takes a certain level of skill, but this level of almost commitment when you kind of think about video games and, like, the amount of time you spend on, like, Fire Emblem just came out, 70-hour campaigns, and there's 4 of them.
Yeah.
I think it's hard not to get attached to a character.
Yeah.
If you're playing it for that long. I think that's applicable to almost really any game where you play a character if you play it for long enough. You play Zelda Breath of the Wild for long enough, like, the reason we gave so much of a shit about that ending was because we played Breath of the Wild for hours. Yeah. We loved that game. We explored so much of it, and we went through all the shrines, we went through all the dungeons, and we expected a better ending from it, obviously, but we had our expectations set so high, and it was because, like, I don't know, we kind of were Link, and we wanted to, I don't know, we wanted to see an interesting story and see what happened to this character.
Yeah.
And we expected a little bit more from it, but I think game storytelling just, it's because you play as the character, it's because of that interactivity that makes it so much more than books and TV and all that.
Yeah.
To me personally.
Because when you're watching a movie and when you're reading a book, you can't change anything. The story is basically being told to you. Whereas in a lot of games, what you do, you have some kind of... even if you can't make decisions, sometimes based on how you play, you decide when things happen. And that little thing, it helps make the game feel so much more real because you feel like you have some kind of impact on what's actually going on.
I mean, I think also part of it is, you know, just like comparing it to books. Like, I don't know, you can say like a character in a book like walked into a place and you can describe in a million different ways, but when you're playing Breath of the Wild, it's like there's that piano sting, there's the ambiance of the world, there's just so much. It's like you're playing in a painting, really.
Yeah.
It's something else.
It's like if you were to bring books and movies together kind of in one experience.
I don't know.
But then you throw in the interactivity.
Yeah. And that's why I think playing the story is the best thing about games. I think yeah, I don't know. Fuck, man, like Mother 3, which is a game that didn't even come out here,
Yep.
which I had to look up a translation for, was like the second piece of media ever to like make me cry. Like that's how much this that's how much this story affected me. Giving a shit about these characters. Pork Chopper. I don't know, man. Like where do we go from here? How can we fuck up games even worse? And how do we stop that?
I think the answer is pretty obvious, but it's something that's never going to happen. If we want games to stop getting worse, then we need to focus our money buying the games that do things right, and by not spending money on the bullshit.
Right.
But there's always going to be people who they just don't really care about it, right? It's like whatever, they just buy whatever game, you know. They don't care about spending $100 to buy this or that in the game, and because of those sort of cash cows, it's always just going to keep getting worse because they're never going to stop.
It's because of those people who bought the Fallout 76 collector's edition with our canvas bag debacle.
Yeah. The great canvas shortage of 2018. Fuck.
God damn it.
I'll tell you how games can get better. Since the PS2, games have only really progressed in, at least had meaningful progression in two areas. And that's the graphics and the audio. The big thing for next gen is their CPUs. You're probably not going to understand what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm not a computer guy, but
That's fine. But so their processor, their CPUs are based on something called Zen 2 architecture, which is the third generation of the CPU I have in my computer, right? Now, why that matters is going from PS3 to PS4, while we had a big jump in graphics, the CPUs were really, really slow laptop processors that were just slightly faster than the ones in the 360 and the PS3.
Mm-hmm.
So our AI, our physics, and the complexity of like game logic and shit going on in the background, it never really got better because they didn't have the horsepower, there to actually push for more. So going into next gen, yeah, the graphics are going to get better, but now we can have much more complex characters. You can be in a first person shooter and have characters that the enemies won't just flank you. They'll actually intelligently figure out what you're doing and, even find ways to fuck with your tactics. Maybe, I don't know. Like, there's just so many different possibilities. Games can be so unpredictable. And, with physics, I mean, think about Half-Life 2. Did you ever play that?
Yeah.
You know how crazy it was the first time you played, like, the physics puzzles for, like, the lifts and elevators and all that shit. And we haven't really seen games progress further than that. Just imagine, what could be done with just insane physics, even just for puzzle games, or, I mean, for something like Grand Theft Auto, the driving, the, crashes, even just fighting games, the impacts of hits and different things like that. Every single area of the physicality of all these games can just improve so much, and we haven't really seen any progression there for so fucking long. So I think bringing the AI and the physics and everything, to the to 2020, it's really going to improve games like all around. Pretty much any game can benefit from that. I think that's going to be like a really big step. Hopefully, people listening actually understand what the fuck I was just talking about.
I don't know. I all I heard was that we need games that can turn into guns, so that we can go to Shigeru Miyamoto's house and hold him at gunpoint, so that he'll make us
Super Mario 64 too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Not quite what I was saying, but that's all right.
That's all I heard. And I think that's a really good idea for a Chopper.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, great idea.
I think how we save video games is by just starting over. Let's get the video game crash from 1980 whatever, and just go back to N64s.
It's interesting. We've been on this trajectory that seems like it's pushing towards a crash for like fucking 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And the crash just never comes.
No.
So I don't know if we're ever actually going to get another
I think it's just a matter of, the guys who fail just going out and the fat cats just rising, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Nintendo's never going to not be Nintendo. Like,
That's true.
it's always going to stay at the top because people buy. I don't know. People like the name. It's casual. It's easy.
It's true.
And
And I mean, they're pretty consistent
yeah.
in the quality of their games, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah.
But I don't know. I think what we really need is Super Mario 64 2. That'll really fix everything.
Yeah. Super Mario Odyssey was good, but I think there's just so much more that they can do there.
You know, we were talking about earlier today. You said, you kind of ask yourself, man, Dragon Quest 9 or whatever,
11.
11, it plays exactly like the old Dragon Quest games. Why the fuck can't Final Fantasy do that?
I don't fucking know, man. Honestly.
And it's true. I think I feel like so many series feel the need to ditch so many things that are just kind of great about them,
That make them what they are.
that make them what they are, in favor of some strange kind of modern. I don't know, like some weird ass modern combat stuff. Modern, I should say.
Yeah, modern, yeah.
That nobody really gives a shit about.
Yeah.
And I think it's what I would like to see more of is I want to see like a Final Fantasy game that's just like I don't know. It almost plays exactly like the first one. I want to. I
Like
want
a
them to
classic turn-based.
be just straight up like the most classic turn based.
You know, it's interesting, though. You look at the Bravely
Default.
games, right?
Yeah.
Bravely Default and Bravely Second. You look at Persona 5. You look at Dragon Quest 11. All these strictly, turn-based RPGs that have seen huge success. I mean, the Octopath Traveler from Square Enix was turn-based and did extremely well. So well that they ended up wanting to bring it to phones. They brought it to PC. They're probably going to bring it to everything else at this point because it did so well and made so much money. Mm-hmm. And yet they think Final Fantasy won't make money if they make it turn-based. And it's like, are you high? Like, you got all this potential money just sitting here. Just give me a classic Final Fantasy. Like, don't get me wrong. Final Fantasy VII Remake looks fantastic.
It does.
And I love what they're doing with it. But at the same time, I also would have been content with just taking Final Fantasy VII, that exact same setup, and just make that 3D with better graphics.
Mm-hmm. I absolutely fucking agree.
Yeah.
And Pork Chopper, you asked me on the last episode, which was 3 days ago.
Yeah.
What was a game that only the Stadia can handle?
All right.
That game is Super Mario 64 2.
What the fuck?
We're going to go to Shigeru Miyamoto's house. We're going to threaten him with guns. Okay? It's going to be sick, bro. Okay? Just trust me. We're going to be like, hey, make a Super Mario 64 maker. Fuck this 2D shit. Okay? Let's get on the real shit. Okay?
Yeah.
And he's going to be like, oh, fuck. The Switch can't hold all that game, bro. He's going to say that. I mean, he's going to say that in Japanese.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's not even going to understand what the fuck we're saying. He's probably going to more be saying, please help me. I don't want you to kill my family. Please, God, please. And we're just going to say, no. Get a translator here right now. We're going to tell you how to make Mario 64 2. Maker. Alright? So we're going to go... So he's going to make this, okay? And it's going to be great. Because we're going to allow porn levels.
What the fuck?
Okay?
Brilliant.
No censorship. Zero
right.
censorship. Every level is going to start with fuck.
That sounds just like Nintendo. Yeah.
Exactly. So, finally you're going to get them to beg for your buck when you buy that online service. Because it's also going to double as a porn service. It'll essentially just be like paying for Brazzers Premium or whatever, but you
Jesus.
pay for Super Mario 64 2 Maker Premium. Okay?
Yep.
So Mario's gonna be fucking all the enemies.
Except Princess Peach, because he never fucks Princess Peach.
Well, that's not an enemy, as I said.
That's fair. That's fair.
So he's going to be fucking all the enemies, and he's also going to be, it's going to be a great game though. Disregard all the point. It's going to have amazing user-made levels, and again, only the Stadia can hold that. That's the thing.
Yep.
You asked for a game only the Stadia can hold, and obviously the Switch doesn't have the processing power to run fucking Pokemon.
Of course.
An open world Pokemon game. That shit looked like Super Mario or fucking Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time from the fucking N64.
Yep.
Look at that fucking tree and that Direct. So it can't hold 3D graphics. So we're going to need the Google Stadia.
Great idea.
Needs to nut up.
Yep.
Go with Google.
Literally nut up. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got porn, right? Yeah.
And we're gonna make a fucking game, okay?
It's a good idea.
All right, but the real fun comes in with 2-player.
Oh, great!
Right?
Great. I like
Okay,
where this is
all right.
going.
So essentially, by the time the game's out, we're gonna be calling it Ram Ranch 64.
Yeah.
And
Jesus Christ!
was this where you were expecting our 1-year anniversary episode to go?
No.
I'm not done explaining. Shut the fuck up, Mark Chopper. Okay.
All right.
Instead of we're gonna give old Bowser the crocodile fuckhouse while giving him the so long gay Bowser, throwing him into a spike. But the spike actually is like a sexually pleasurable. I don't know. He's really into spike play, I guess.
Jesus.
It's gonna be a great game.
Yeah.
One of the best, I would say. And after it comes out, when we're all done, playing through some great levels and jacking off or whatever, we're going to be like, wow, I sure felt great that I went to Miyamoto's house and threatened him with my semi-automatic rifle.
Yeah.
I am so glad that I put his family at risk, put a gun to his head, and said, man, this was... Make me a fucking game for the Stadia, you Japanese piece of shit.
Jesus.
Yeah. So yeah, can you argue with that? I think that's an experience you can only get on the Google Stadia.
No, yeah, I think that's a really great tagline. Google Stadia presents Super Mario 69. It's fucking awesome.
Why the fuck didn't I think of that title? What else would it be called? Of course it's that. Of course it's that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. God damn it. God damn it. This is also my plan for making games better, by the way.
Oh, okay. That's good. Just put sex in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's... Little Big Planet. That game would have been way better if they just there was genital DLC. And they just call it Little Big Pedophilia or whatever.
Yeah, Barbie Goes to College would have been great, yeah.
Yeah. That might justify us paying for online.
Yeah.
For
Google Stadia, yeah.
For Google Stadia. And owning multiple... Because you'd have so many porn levels that you'd have to stack them on top of each other.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be saving all of them for later.
Yeah.
There would be Oh, and you know what else you could make?
What?
You could make Dire Docks, but without water.
What the fuck?
No, I'd pay for 12 Google Stadias to play that fucking level.
Jesus.
No water. Zero water in the whole game. It'd be great.
That's fucked.
It'd be great. And then you could always branch out into... No. I think it's cool if we just keep it Mario. Keep it a traditional Mario game.
Just like the first game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
There's no need to applaud me, guys. Everyone at home, don't. I know again, we are the masterminds. We're galaxy levels of thinking over here.
Yeah. Please clap.
But you're not. Again, that's why you tune in. You come for the intellect. You come for the discussions and we thank you all for coming with us for one whole year. I mean, 9 months out of that year. Again, maybe we would have been more interested in doing this if somebody actually had gone to threaten Miyamoto.
Yeah.
But thank you all. Thank you all. Just thank y'all. I don't know. You guys are cool.
Yeah.
Shelly LM. You're okay, I guess.
Yeah, she's alright.
She's okay.
Yeah.
She's also the only person that listens to this, but she's yeah. But I hope our ideas haven't like rattled your guys' minds too much. It hasn't been like I hope we haven't like brought you into a whole world where everything is a porn game and Mario has been Mario is just here for our sexual entertainment.
That's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it's the only way that the industry could go, personally.
Yeah.
But yeah, Pork Chopper. What news has been going on lately?
Well, I had mentioned E3 earlier. So the ESA is an organization in the video game industry that hosts E3 every year. On this year, they kind of made a little bit of a boo-boo. So on their, they've got this online portal for all the journalists to sign up, and you can basically set up all your interviews for all the people that are presenting at E3. Now, the one issue is that the thing is, it's just password protected, right? But they had, I guess, a file on there that you could download.
An Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, an Excel spreadsheet that just listed all the personal information for over 2,000 journalists and content creators and media influencers that were attending E3. And it just got leaked all online.
Bit of an oopsie.
And you can't get that information back. It's a good time.
So we're finding the guy that copied that review.
Philip?
Yeah.
That guy, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he's allowed at E3.
No, probably not.
Let's be honest here.
Yeah, that's more than fucked up. I don't know.
Yeah.
Good job, you fucking assholes.
Yeah. And then their response was basically like, yeah, shit happens. We took it down and it's not going to happen again. It's like, it can happen again because the information's already out there. Holy shit.
I don't know. I guess I personally, like, I do have a bit of nostalgia for E3. I think we all do.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody else could do it better.
Yeah.
I'm sure there could be some other way to have another convention that hosts all these things.
I mean,
I don't know to the degree of E3 though.
We have Gamescom in August or September in I believe in Leipzig, Germany.
Yeah.
Gamescom is usually pretty good. It's not as big as E3. But the issue with E3 is that it's kind of been losing its flair and it's losing its like sort of
It's pull.
Yeah, and it's like hype year after year. It's kind of getting worse.
Yeah.
Like Sony pulled out this year. A lot of other big publishers they didn't really show off much, or they just didn't even show up at all. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're all kind of they're pushing more towards Gamescom and the PAX East and West, and Paris Games Week is another one that's kind of coming up. I guess because there's so many other things throughout the year, they see less of a reason to spend so many millions of dollars to go to E3 every single year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then this happens.
Yeah. I don't know. This is the last one we see. That's as good as it was. I mean, we had a pretty good year. We had Keanu Reeves. We had Banjo-Kazooie. We had No More Heroes 3, which is going to make me look like an asshole because I'm about to release an episode where I say, hey guys, the worst part about No More Heroes Travis Strikes Back is that we've probably fucked ourselves and there's going to be no more Heroes 3 because this game didn't sell. Whoops!
You know, I actually I want to bring that up though. That's one thing that kind of pissed me off about the No More Heroes 3 announcement, is that the game was obviously in development already. You know, it was already well into development. They knew the game was going to come out, and they actually had the gall to sit there and tell people, basically, yeah, if you want No More Heroes 3, you have to buy this game that we already know is a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know that we're already making No More Heroes 3, and you're going to get it no matter what, because Travis Strikes Again didn't sell.
God fucking damn it.
That's pretty shitty.
Suda, you piece of shit.
Yep.
All I can say is, if our next bit of news next month is a special news report about Shigeru Miyamoto being held at gunpoint, that was not us
Nothing to do with us at all.
at all. Everybody, this has been, again, everybody at home, give yourselves a round of applause for sitting through that.
Yeah.
Just pat on the back, you know, try and suck your own dick if you can. You deserve it. You know, maybe maybe go out and buy yourself a nice time behind a dumpster somewhere
Yep.
in
That's a good
Toronto. You've all been fantastic for shitting on us in the comments, and you know that one guy that told Pork Chopper that he was going to report him to that one guy for being a Sony or whatever.
Yeah. It's good
Yeah.
times, good times.
It's been a fun year.
Yeah.
It's been a very stagnant 3 months, but we will see you all next month.
Yep.
We will see you all on August 8th when this releases. Until then, I have been Kaz Narius,
And the Pork Chopper.
signing off. Now, wait. You know the way this goes. I'm about to tell you to stop it, but you're not allowed, because I've got shit to say after, okay?
Alright.
Alright. So we start off by making Super Mario 69, but then we start the Super Mario 69 cinematic universe,
Alright.
okay? We're bringing dirty porn movies back.
Alright, sounds good.
We've been... Who's heard of dirty porn theaters anymore? They're gone. They're extinct. That's right.
Yeah.
We're going to bring them back into the spotlight. We're going to make dirty porn theaters great again, and we are going to start with our whole line of, Super Smash My Ass Bro movies.
What the fuck?
Obviously starring Mario and Luigi.
Obviously.
And it's going to be a cinematic universe that will dwarf Marvel. Disney's currently shitting themselves at this thought.
Of course.
They're listening, and they should be. Miyamoto really should be. You know, we'll get all those creepy fucking furries on with the Pokemon shit. We'll get Mario in space with Samus fucking some Metroids. It's going to be first of all, we're finally going to make a great video game movie.
Oh yeah.
Which has never happened.
Nope.
But it's gonna start with that. Nintendo, please give me your money to direct this. I want Danny DeVito as Mario.
Yep. It's a good investment.
I want
Fuck it, we'll do John Leguizamo again as Luigi.
Same guy. Did Mario die from that old fucking movie?
Bob Hoskins?
I think he did.
Yeah, he
Yeah, he
had
did, yeah.
Parkinson's. He passed away a few years ago.
Okay.
We can always just CG him in for a cameo.
That's true. They start banging away. He just like pops in through the door. Hey, what are you punts on? Whoa! Luigi, what the hell are you doing? The mushroom doesn't go there. What are you using that chain chomp for, boys? Ah!
That sounds fucking terrifying.
Okay, shut the fucking thing off so I can take a shower.